Hello and welcome. I am Ladi Akeredoluale. Tonight, police filed charges bordering on examination malpractice against the candidate of the PDP in the Osun State governorship election, Senator Adeleke, and 4 others. Presidency orders IGP to suspend invitation until after Saturday's election. Federal government suspends planned new national carrier Nigeria Air, gives no reason for decision, but rules out political pressure. Vice President Oshibajo visits victims of flood disaster in Niger State, promises federal government's intervention to take care of their plight. And former Liberian Central Bank governor quizzed by investigators over a container load of $60 billion banknotes alleged to be missing.
On business news tonight, Director General of Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry highlights strategies to improve investment in Nigeria's agriculture and automotive industry.
And on sports news tonight, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and South Korean President Moon Jae-in confirmed their countries' plan to jointly bid for the 2032 Summer Olympics.
And from Abuja, members of the Bring Back Our Girls group take protest to the presidential villa, demand release of Leah Sharibu and others in Boko Haram captivity.
We begin tonight from the nation's capital, Abuja, where the police have filed charges against the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Adeleke, less than 3 days to the Osun governorship election. They are accusing Senator Adeleke of examination malpractice, aiding and abetting, impersonation, and criminal conspiracy. The principal of Ojoaro Community Grammar School, Egbedore, Osun State, and 3 others are also to be arraigned for what the police describes as conspiracy with the senator. The police also say Senator Adeleke had made cautionary statements and admitted that he registered for the examinations but did not sit for it. According to a statement by the police public relations officer, Mr. Jimo Moshood, investigation has revealed that Senator Adeleke and his brother Sikiru Adeleke registered for the National Examination Council exam, NECO, in July of 2017 as an internal candidate impersonating students of the school at the ages of 57 and 42 years each.
And he sat for this examination at the age of 57 years as an internal student, which is beyond any conventional or worldwide recognized age for people who are either in high school or secondary school anywhere in the world. The photograph of both Senator Ademola Adeleke and Sikiru Adeleke appearing side by side in the school album have no NECO stamp on them. Senator Ademola Adeleke and 4 others were arrested, investigated, and granted bail, and they are being charged to court now for exam malpractice, criminal conspiracy, personation, breach of duty, aiding and abetting against Senator Ademola Adeleke and 4 others, namely Mr. Sikiru Adeleke, Alhaji Aregbesola Muftau, that's the principal of Ojoaro Community High School, Egbedore Local Government of Osun State, Mr. Gbadamosi Thomas Ojo, school staff responsible for the registration of candidates for NECO, who conspire and register Senator Ademola Adeleke and Sikiru Adeleke. Mr. Dare Olu Tope, who is a school teacher, who equally facilitated the commission of the crime. The charges against them have been filed at the Federal High Court, Abuja, under the Examination Malpractices Act, Chapter E15, 2004, today, Wednesday, 19 September 2018. Consequently, Senator Ademola Adeleke, the PDP governorship aspirant in the 22nd September 2018 gubernatorial election in Osun State, and the 4 others that their name have been mentioned, are advised in their own interest to report to the Special Investigation Panel at First Headquarters Abuja immediately for arraignment in court.
Meanwhile, sources in the presidency say President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered the Inspector General of Police to stop the invitation of Senator Ademola Adeleke to answer charges bordering on examination malpractice. The police, as you just heard earlier today, summoned Senator Adeleke and 4 other persons over allegations of aiding and abetting, impersonation, and criminal conspiracy. There is no official statement yet on the purported presidential order. In the meantime, the People's Democratic Party in Osun State has described the invitation of the party's governorship candidate, Senator Ademola Adeleke, by the police as a threat to democracy. The Director General of the Adeleke campaign organization, Larry Oyewumi, told newsmen in Ede that an institution like the police ought to be neutral and apolitical at all times. He says the confirmation by WAEC that Senator Ademola Adeleke sat for the final examination at Muslim Grammar School in Ede should lay to rest all allegations surrounding the certificate issue rather than compound it. He commended President Muhammadu Buhari for his intervention to halt the invitation, even as he admonished the police not to allow itself to be used as a tool for the ignoble role of thwarting the free expression of voters' preferences. The police had earlier today invited Senator Adeleke for alleged examination malpractice.
Police action today by inviting the senator, some even said he was declared wanted by the police. You see, this is like taking the poor man to the public court. And within 2 hours, more than 1,000 people have phoned him. What is still happening? Why are they doing this? And that is like a way of campaigning against him. And we take serious offense at this from Nigerian police. The police should not be seen to be dangling in the muddy water of politics. They should be seen to stand above board. I want to advise them on behalf of the PDP of Osun State and the campaign organization of Senator Ademola Adeleke. The police should stay clear.
Just before the police released the statement, the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, had cleared Senator Ademola Adeleke of certificate forgery, an allegation brought against him by 2 chieftains of the All Progressives Congress, the APC. The council, in an affidavit filed at the Registry of the Federal Capital Territory High Court in Buari, Abuja, confirms that the PDP governorship candidate sat for the senior secondary certificate examination in May-June of 1981. In the 4-paragraph affidavit filed in compliance with the order of Justice Othman Musa directing the examination body to supply the court with particulars of Senator Adeleke in the 1981 examinations, WAEC confirmed that the lawmaker sat for the examination at Ede Muslim High School, Yidi Road in Ede, Osun State, with center number 19645. The certified true copy of the ledger, however, indicated that Senator Adeleke, who is currently representing Osun West Senatorial District in the Senate, sat for only English language in the examination. 2 APC chieftains, Wahab Adekunle Rahim and Adam Omoshalewa Habib, had dragged the PDP candidate before the Abuja High Court, praying the court for an order to disqualify him from participating in the September 22 governorship election in Osun State on the grounds that he does not have the requisite academic qualification. The Federal Executive Council has approved Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, the former Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, as the substantive Minister of Finance. Presidential spokesperson Mr. Femi Adesina told journalists at a news conference after the council meeting that Mrs. Ahmed was legally deployed to the ministry to oversee it upon relinquishing her former position. Our correspondent, Gloria Ume Ezeoke, reports.
The President, Muhammadu Buhari, begins the Federal Executive Council meeting as soon as he arrives the chamber. At a joint briefing after the meeting, the presidential spokesman clarified the new status of Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, a former Minister of State for Budget and National Planning.
For now, she will no longer function as Minister of State, Budget and Planning. She will be Minister of Finance. In fact, that was how she was addressed at Council. But don't forget that it's also a legal thing. If a minister is going to be appointed, there are some procedures. That's why it's a deployment.
On the issue of the flood disaster, the Minister of Water Resources advised people living in floodplains to vacate their communities to avoid further spread of the disaster.
In these times of climate change, anything can happen. So I still want to appeal to communities to be very wary of building anything, developing or residing on water courses and in floodplains.
Council also approved the concessioning of 20 of the nation's silos spread across the Federation.
The fact that we are concessioning some of these silos does not mean that we are reneging on our responsibility to guarantee food security. We are keeping 6 of the silos, which, according to international standards, will keep 5% of all the grains we harvest every year. The rest will go to private sector groups. And those who bid it and were screened and have shown capacity have been the ones who have been allocated the silos. And government will earn 6 billion naira in the 10-year period of the first instance. The federal government still remains the owner of the silos, and at the end of 10 years can either renew or revoke or take over the silos and operate them ourselves.
He also states the need to invest more in irrigation and dams to boost agriculture productivity across the country. From the presidential villa, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Speaking of key decisions made today, the federal government has suspended in the interim the proposed national carrier Nigeria Air project. The Minister of State for Aviation, Hadi Sirika, announced this in Abuja, saying the decision to suspend the project was strategic and not due to any political pressure, and that all commitments due will be honored. The name and logo of the new national carrier for Nigeria to replace the defunct Nigeria Airways, which had stopped operations in 2003, was unveiled by the minister at the Farnborough International Air Show in England in July. The minister had said then that operations would begin in December 2018 and that Nigeria Air would be private sector driven, as the government would only own 5% of its shares. At the time, the Minister of State had said Nigeria was in talks with Boeing and Airbus to determine what aircraft would be used for its operations.
The federal government of Nigeria has taken the decision to suspend the national carrier project, for some strategic reasons. And would advise you in due course. There's no argument from stakeholders to say that we should not proceed. No. And also, as to question whether it's political or not, I think those people who are saying it was politically motivated are being very unfair to Mr. President. Sitting to my right is Captain Abdulsalam Mohammed. Even before I was made minister, shortly after Mr. President was sworn in as president of the country, he was made the chairman of the task force to establish a national carrier. And once I became minister, they handed over their report to government, and government gave me the report and asked me to implement or set up a national carrier. So it has nothing to do with that. It is strategic, and let us leave it as that, and it's been suspended for now.
In part 2, after the break, medium-term solution come in the way of victims of flooding in Niger State, just as APC in Osun State alleges manipulation of card reader ahead of Saturday's governorship election. INEC denies claim, commends Channels Television for balanced reportage. Stay on with us.